There are fears of increased tensions between South Africans and foreign nationals working within the country. The EFF visited restaurants just last week and they wanted to check how many foreign nationals are working in the hospitality industry. Well, the visits come as members of the Operation Dudula continue to conduct what they've called cleanup operations in Soweto as well as other parts of Johannesburg. And they're targeting what they believe are illegal foreign nationals. So let's get some reaction to this from the Foundation for Human Rights, Sara Motha, who joins us now. Sarah, good morning to you and thank you so much for your time this Monday morning. Now, take me through the dialogue which I understand you had on Friday between even some members or even activists of Operation Dudula as well as, other members of society regarding this issue. What came out of the dialogue?
As the Foundation for Human Rights, we are appalled about the act of Operation Dudula. And you asking what came out of the dialogue was a common understanding. Matter of fact, we had some representatives from Operation Dudula, and we had to hear what their sentiments are about in terms of migrants. And certainly there was a common understanding that there's lack of understanding on the amount of, pressure the state has exerted into young people due to its lack to deliver on services that are due to young people, including the fact that young people in the press conference from Operation Dudula had to understand that what they are sort of challenged by, which is underlying factors, are issues of intergenerational poverty and trauma caused by unemployment, and the fact that many of them, in fact, during COVID, through some research, we learned that half of the South African population was going to bed hungry. And that is not caused certainly by migrants who are, in fact, maybe having a job in a restaurant or operating a stall.
And I understand that you are saying that their actions are misdirected. They have to direct those actions and that anger towards business, the business sector, as well as towards government.
Certainly, you're sitting with a few percentage of stinking rich individuals who are in the business, who earned their wealth via exploitation during apartheid and currently continuously so. And they are left not to account. Hence, the civil society in this space are demanding, for example, what we call wealth tax. And the fact that we have lost through corruption and embezzlement between 2014 and 2019, an amount of 1.5 trillion rands in the hands of the state, let alone the fact that when people protest in the street, who are South Africans in that asking for service delivery, they are met with, ammunition. Andries Tatane is a case in point, which alarmed the international community for the fact that civilians are asking for accountability for service delivery, and they are met with amount of violence in the hands of the state.
With that being said, Sarah, I'm sure you have seen, the videos that have been circulating on social media. Some of those who went to the likes of Bara Taxi Rank to, ask those foreign nationals who'd been selling to vacate, pack up, saying that, those stalls belong to South Africans. I think if I remember correctly, one of the gentlemen on the video saying that, the stalls belong to original South Africans, I suppose, meaning that if you're born and bred in South Africa by South African parents, I'm not sure what they meant. And my question to you is, what are some of the resolutions that came out of their dialogue? Because in that video, the man in the video, the voice said they're going to come back the following day to check if they're still there. So that's intimidation. And I can imagine some of the foreign nationals living in fear, afraid to go back out of fear of being intimidated again.
We have interrogated that question. In fact, some of us even went to observe what has happened in the taxi rank. And in fact, what's coming clearly is that no one can come to South Africa and occupy a stall that's meant to be for a South African to trade. We interrogated the question and found that, as you might know, that those stalls are being rented out by the owners who are South Africans. And therefore, that's why our point is that the energy of the Operation Dudula is not directed to the right person. interrogating that further, we found that those stalls, if they are not rented to migrants by South Africans, in the process of construction, someone who is in charge of the construction, either the metro or the municipality or the province, gets to sell those stalls to migrants. This is the voice from the south, where now in the Tefontein areas also Operation Dudula has started, where one of the community members who needed a stall during the process of construction found that the stalls have already been sold by the builders, by the metro themselves, who were holding the contract to migrants. So you cannot use migrants who are vulnerable, who are now weak in a country which is not theirs, and then use them as a scapegoat. Next time you will look into your children, you look into your women. Every time where there's infestation of underlying facts of impoverishment, lack of human dignity, discrimination, quite often the vulnerable, is the one who is used as a scapegoat. I mean, you talk about gender-based violence, which is costing this country 42 billion a year. Is not caused by migrants. These are underlying sources of trauma, intergenerational, internalized forms of violence that is coming out to manifest itself to the vulnerable.
And we leave it there, and appreciate your input to this conversation. Sara Motha from the Foundation for Human Rights.